60 million people died in World War I? We might have been able to stop World War I if we had learned from World War II, and we could stop many more tragic events by learning from history. Now, you might be asking yourself, why study history? First off, I used to think that history was boring, but then I started to learn about it, and it was actually pretty interesting. Also, maybe in other countries, they could stop some of the civil wars that they were having by learning from the challenges that the U.S. and other countries had faced to make a democracy. Also, in the past, we might have been able to stop some wars if we had learned from history. The most obvious example is World War I and World War II. We should have learned from the past that punishing the enemy will only lead to more fighting, but we still punished the Germans at the end of World War I, which was one of the leading factors in World War II. So you might be asking how to change this. First off, history isn't being taught correctly, and some of the issues that how it's not being taught correctly is that teachers are teaching at SOLs, that we aren't being taught many important useful things because we're not on the SOLs, and because we're learning things from one perspective. I think the most important is teaching to SOLs because it takes away two of those categories, teaching to SOLs, and because we aren't learning important useful things because we're not on the SOLs. An example of that is the Battle of Antietam. We didn't learn about it even though it was the bloodiest day in American history. And also all we learned about was VA for 3 years, Virginia for 3 years, even though other stuff happened in other states. Also laws have never worked. So the question is, how to change this? First off, we should learn things from a different perspective, and history should be taught more interesting instead of memorizing facts. We can put these changes into effect by putting a different perspective in the history textbook instead of one. Something that we could put into it was the British perspective of the Revolutionary War. And we could tell more cool stories from things that you're learning about. And we could show videos of people that you're learning about that are still alive. And we could create custom lesson plans based on how certain students learn. An example of that is a teacher in Canada did that, and she is certain that all the students will pass SOL. There are many more things that we can do to teach history better, but remember, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.